everyone, it's Sabrina. So for this video, I'm going to finish up June 2023 with 2 spreads and then an end page for June. And at the very end, I will share all of the June pages. So for this first spread, I wanted to document a summer hike that we went on, and I really loved the colors in the Awesome kit. Yeah, the Awesome kit, because it had the greens and oranges and pinks. And so I pulled from there and I was able to change the color of the one of the cards. I think it was the So Good card. I changed the color of that to green, and then I printed out a bunch of other pieces to add to the page, and I did a lot of vertical photos and then a strip of smaller photos. I love this little simple design. What do we call it? A grid design. And I also took a pink X paper and I put it down at the bottom, and then took a word art that was rad. I think in the physical kit it was like a glitter word, but I took it and I kind of stamped it digitally on the bottom, and then when I printed it out it kind of looks like a border all the way across, and I think it turned out pretty good. Also, you can see I'm using a ruler to make sure that things are aligned from the left and the right page, because that is definitely something I struggle with, or at least I feel like I struggle with, or maybe I think about it too much. I don't know. How do you guys get over this sense of like it has to be aligned perfectly? I don't know what my deal is. I did leave a spot in the smaller photos section to make a cluster. So I knew I wanted to make a cluster there. I'm also going to make one on the So Good side, and then I'll have a smaller one down at the very bottom right corner, so that way I have 3 different spots for embellishments. And then the journaling card I printed was awesome and not awesome, because there was some things on this hike that were not so awesome. If anybody has traveled too, right? Hiked or traveled with friends or families or your lovely children, it can be quite interesting. And so that's how it was with this hike. I have several different pieces, like a hodgepodge of different pieces that I could include in my clusters, and I was having a little bit of trouble deciding what pieces I'm going to include. I finally decide to stick with a rainbow die cut over on the right hand side, and so that way that right hand side has more green and orange, and then over on the left hand side I'm going to do more pink, or at least a pop of pink. I felt like that cluster over on the right side didn't need as much pink since I had the pink journaling card. So over on the left hand side, like I said, it can have that pop of pink. I also went looking in one of my new organized acrylic drawers for some word strip phrases, because I love those, and I found a few that I can go ahead and use. I have this long one that I want to use on the right hand side, that cluster, but I am gonna have to chop it in half. I wasn't too happy about having to do that because I was thinking, I don't know if that'll work, but it's just gonna have to work in the end. And down at the bottom I put casual adventure and then 1 puffy sticker. And that awesome die cut, I went ahead and pop dotted it so that way it lifts off the page a little bit. And of course the cluster is not completely in that square zone. It's kind of outside of the square zone, which I like. It kind of breaks up that grid design. I also used a chipboard, currently exploring, that I pulled from a newly organized drawer too. That was my circled drawer. And like I mentioned, I die cut that rainbow. The kit came with a physical set of rainbow stickers, puffy stickers, but I wanted the rainbow to be a little bit bigger. So this is where I'm going to chop the word strip. That sounds so serious, doesn't it? Chop it. I'm going to cut it in half, and it's going to say wandering close to home. And I'm going to kind of tuck it into that chipboard piece. And I forgot to mention, over on the right hand side with all those smaller photos, I focused more on the animals, or creatures, I guess you could say. So at the top I have a mama turkey, and then the next photo is is like a gopher that was peeking out. And then I have a bunch of cows that my kids were really enjoying listening to and talking to. So that's kind of fun how I was able to do that whole grid of, or row of animal pictures. And then over on the left-hand side, you can see I'm working on the cluster. I didn't make it as tight as I normally do, like really clustered together, but I think overall it works together. So I have a die cut shape of a heart with a puffy sticker layered over the top, and then just a circle chipboard that has like some orange stripes in it, and then another chipboard that I printed out that says awesome looks just like this. So I think overall it works together, but like I said, I don't know what was going on, but I was having a little bit of trouble like bringing these clusters together, but I'm glad that I played with them because I think in the end they worked out. And then the word phrase I picked was, where are we going? Now I'm going to fill out the journaling card, and I just talked about how my husband is really good at finding different trails in our area to explore, and he found this nature preserve, and despite the heat, we decided to take a walk, and we wound up going over a mile, and I got to see some interesting plants. You can see the one up in the top corner that's, I think it's Queen Anne's lace, I think, or wild carrot, one of those, but it's one of my favorites and I love it, and I get so happy when I see them. We also saw some grinding rocks and a monument to that, and like I said, my kids loved the cows. So the not so awesome part was, of course, the heat, having to deal with complaints with kids, and then my daughter picked a scab. I don't know if you have anybody that does that in your family or your children do that, but goodness gracious. She picked a scab and it was bleeding everywhere, and then we just had a meltdown. So sometimes it's nice to have that invitation and a journaling card to put down the not so awesome, because yes, overall it was a great hike and it turned out to be a beautiful page, but there was some not so awesome parts. So moving on to the next page, I have this really bright, colorful spread that I wanted to do to kind of wrap up June and any of the photos that I had missed. And I wound up finding a lot of photos that took place outside and really celebrated summer. And I love these bright colors. My only hang up, honestly, was that a lot of these photos had blue and green. And I was thinking, well, should I shift to blue and green? But I really decided, you know what, I am just going to go all out with these bright colors, and it will help to kind of pop the photos that have the blue and the green. And one of the main photos that I have is the slushies, and so that has that red color, and I'm just playing off of that. I have the latest June Stories by the Month kit that I'm used a large die cut for one of the spots that says today, and then I have on the summer list. And when I went to go get paper for my right hand side page, I grabbed the wrong type of paper, so that's why I had to grab the right paper, and then that way it could match because they were different shades of white. And if you're a scrapbooker, that matters. You can totally see the difference in the white, so you just have to fix it. Even though, someone looking at the album maybe 5 years down the road won't even know the difference. But anyways, got that white paper. Now I can move on, and I'm laying out the grid of photos. Again, that's just so simple for me. I have so many photos, and I have a really hard time kicking photos out and taking photos down. But I think I was able to capture summer really well with this set of photos. I have a dragonfly, and I have a beautiful tree that I saw in bloom, our watermelon that was growing, some beach photos, a birthday hike, a good variety of photos. The Stories by the Month kit comes with a lot of vellum, and I've been trying to work on different ways to use the vellum. I had that really bright, colorful journaling card on the left-hand side with the red, orange, and pink and kind of the light yellow, and I wanted to figure out a way to bring it over to the right-hand side. So I took I think it was 4x6 card, or maybe it was 3x4. Either way, I took it and I cut it up into 1-inch strips, and then I decided to put it over on the right-hand side and kind of do a different pattern with it, you can see that I kind of rotated it so that it's not all the same direction all the way down. And I think overall it works. I'm also going to put a really large acetate sun, and that'll kind of break up seeing the difference so in your face, if that makes sense. But I love the vellum. I think it's the perfect touch that I needed, and I was also able to use up one of these suns that says summertime is always the best of what might be, which I love. I also grabbed a few other little embellishments. I love using word stickers, but I kept the embellishments really light with this spread. I didn't even pull out my stamps, which, if you know me, that is hard for me to do. I always love adding stamps. But I picked out a really pale pink word sticker that says currently, and I put that right above the today. And I also put one down by the photo of us with our ices, and I said, love this moment. And then a third one was over by the sun that says right now. So I pulled out like a variety of word phrase stickers, but then I stuck with pale yellow. And then my puffy hearts could be different colors, which is the pink and red. So that worked out really nice to have just a subtle touch of pink word phrase stickers to kind of help your eye travel over the page. And now I'm going to write out the different descriptions for the photos. And I wrote so tiny, you guys. I'd have never written this tiny. And I didn't draw myself like guiding lines. So maybe that's why it turned out so tiny. So what I said is summer's in full swing and we have a busy and fun start to the summer. And then I just made a list of the things that were going on, like growing the bell peppers and the watermelon, going to the beach and trying the kayak, which our daughter was not scared. Last time we went, she was excited to be Moana, and then she freaked out. So this summer, or this last summer, she was all for it and loved it. And then noticing little details on neighborhood walks, like the pink blooms, that kind of reminded me of a Dr. Seuss thing. And also the little details of just watching a dragonfly in our backyard, celebrating my birthday, going to the local pool, and then going to a 7-Eleven for treats. So all the little things that make up summer and all the little stories that make up summer. So now that I have that journaling card done, I am done with the spread, and I just love it. It's so good. It's so good and so colorful. And I adhered the card down, and there it is in the album. And I have one last page to do, which is all about the wrap up of June. If you've followed me for any length of time, you know that I love doing an opening page and an ending page. So this is my ending page. And so that way it makes it so the opening page is probably going to be on the right-hand side. And then when you finish the section, it's going to be on the left-hand side for the closing page. So I wanted to find a photo that had not been used in any of the spreads that I had done so far, and a photo of all of us. I couldn't find one of all of us, but I found photos of us like individually. So I made them really big. I think they're like 3x3. Put my daughters and my sons in black and white, and then my husband and I will be in color. And then I thought it would be really fun to play off of the bright yellow in that die cut and do some flower borders at the top and the bottom. And so far I'm loving this, but then when I go to stamp my first flower and I decide to fill it in with a water brush, I kind of start freaking out. Because I'm like, this looks messy. I don't know what it is about my water brush. I don't know if it's because my water brush is getting old, but it feels like the bristles are kind of like splitting and not filling in the shapes as well as they could. So I'm starting with this first step, which is stamping the flowers up at the top and the bottom. And then I get a solid flower shape and take that water brush and just kind of fill in the flowers, color them in. And this is where I was kind of panicking. So I'm like, this looks terrible. But as I go along and fill in the flowers, it looks really pretty. And maybe me not liking my water brush is just me. But the bristles are splitting a little bit, and I don't know. I need to maybe watch a YouTube video about this brush. But overall, I've been really happy with this water brush and using it in lots of different ways. So now I'm going to stamp in a yellow flower. and stamp that in lots of different spots. And with this flower stamp set, I have found so many uses, and I have done so many projects with this stamp set, and that is what I love about a good versatile stamp set. So once I have all these yellow flowers, I repeat the process of filling in the flower using that solid shape, because that helps to get the most ink on the stamp, and then I can swipe my water brush over the top of that filled in stamp shape and color in the stamps, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I also took one of my all-time favorite leaf stamps from a really old stamp set from June, and I stamped some leaves in a really dark color, and later on I will use a lighter green color to stamp some leaves. I then took a lighter, like yellow, it's called Antique Linen, I believe is the ink name, but it's really light, and so I took that and stamped some more flowers, and then I will fill that in as well. And so now I'm not panicking, I'm actually really loving this, and it turned out really pretty because I didn't need the journaling. This is just the end of June. I just wanted to wrap it up in a really simple way, and I feel like this is the best way to do it, and I love it. I love how it turned out. I love when you have an idea and then you go to do that idea, it works out great, and you have a really fun time making the page, because isn't that the whole point of being creative? Is to not only give yourself that, outlet, but also to like boost yourself, I guess you could say, and spark some joy. And that's definitely what this project did. I had to fill in a little bit of a little spot down at the bottom, so that's what I'm doing. Sometimes that happens when you're trying to make a border. You're trying to evenly space things out so you don't have the same color flower right next to each other, and that's what I was trying to do. And then I just had one little spot to fill in, filled it in. Now I can add in that smaller leaf or greenery with the lighter green color. And it turned out so good. I just love it. My last little touch is a green word phrase sticker that says celebrate this time. And now I can add it into my album. And once I get it added in there, I'm gonna, like I said, do a flip through of all of the pages. I'm not sure if I'm going to adhere it back to back in this video. Oh no, yes I am. See, because sometimes I do not adhere them right on camera, and then I never get around to it. So I did it here, and now it's in the album. Now that this page is done, you know what that means. Another section in this album is done. June is complete. So I thought I would go ahead and show you what June looks like. This is the total of June pages. I'm hoping to get July in this album because for us, school starts in the middle of August. So if I can get July in here, then that kind of is most of the summer for us. And then I could share a complete walkthrough of this album. June starts with the end of school and then my son's graduation. I followed that up with the last day of school and going to get ice cream. I then decided it would be really fun to take all the photos of various family and friends and use the Enjoy kit to make a page. The next one is all about a town parade. I also had this hilarious photo of my daughter on the first day of summer. So I just did a little blurb about the first day of summer. I do wish that I had written down more notes in my planner, so that way I could have gone more in depth, but that's okay. Also wrote about Father's Day right here because I had this great photo of my husband and his dad. Loved this photo of my son with all his friends, so I just put that in a simple horizontal 4x6 page protector with a journaling card. Next little layout is all about a fun summer adventure to see some caverns, and I used the Wander Story Kit. The next page was a page I did a long time ago for my Instagram challenge where it was scrapbooking with friends, and I scraplifted a friend named Jen, and I also made a little flip up, and I love how this page came together. The next project is also a Scrapbooking with Friends project. I scraplifted Leilani. I do need to go back and look at the original photo because I think something fell off there. Went on an evening hike, and it's definitely something we enjoy in the summer. After that comes a family hike, which you guys just saw me put together, followed by this summer in review page, which I totally love because it has really bright, bold colors. And then you have June, and that is a wrap on June. Get started on July. So I hope you guys enjoyed this process video, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.